Hello. Let me see. Can't hear you all.
So,
There we go. Hi
hello.
there.
Hello.
Hi, how's it
Hi.
going?
Hi there. Hi from LA. Just gonna listen in a little bit.
Yeah,
What you guys
sounds
have
great.
going?
Excellent. I'm going to move my, let's see.
Pat, did you get the documents yet?
I've not got any documents yet. Have you?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'll
I
keep an
guess
eye
the
out.
term expedited is a relative
I
term.
know, seriously.
Hey, good to see everybody. I'm here in the delightful Boston Logan Airport, and crossing my fingers that my flight will actually be taking off here very shortly. But at least wanted to come and say hi. And once we kick off, happy to say just a little bit about membership stuff before we turn it over for the um, regularly scheduled programming.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Great. Thank you.
This winter storm is getting everybody.
Definitely. Uh,
Yeah.
hey, Blake. This is the first time I've seen you here, I think. So it's good to see
Yeah,
you.
good to see you too, Elizabeth. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. We'll since there's not a ton of people, we'll give the new folks a chance to introduce themselves. So let's let a few more people show up and then we'll jump into that.
Sounds good.
Cool. Um, all right. Well, hello everybody. And yeah, I hope I know that Jonathan, you must be in the really deep part of the storm. Um, but Atlanta got very side like it went away. It did not hit Atlanta too badly. So we're really lucky. But anyway, so welcome to IXAlliance 2026. And so today we're going to start off with a conversation. But before we get into that, we want to make sure everybody knows what IXAlliance is about and let people who are new here introduce themselves. And I'm Elizabeth Strickler, and I'm part of the board, and I run the programming. And the reason why IXAlliance came about is because a group of academics and industry folks started realizing that immersive experiences, immersive design is really hard to define and really hard to build. And we need a group of people who are building, who are researching, who are teaching to come together to really help understand the discipline and to just talk about and share what's working and how they're building, how they're teaching, how they're learning. So that's what we do. One of the things that we wanted to do in the service of that was create a journal. And that has now begun. And I'm going to give Michael a second to talk about the journal and what we're looking for, um, which is just it's typical in any discipline to have a journal that helps define the field and helps sort of share deep thought, deep research, and just case studies and all in between. So that's what we do, and so before, I guess, Michael, before you just say a quick thing about the journal, and before Jonathan says a quick thing about membership, so people who are new, so Blake and it looks like anybody who's new here, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I will go ahead and start. My name is Blake Lewin. I've been in the industry forever. I used to use words like interactive and nonlinear. I like immersive. it's still as vague as nonlinear and interactive, but at least it's hipper. So I don't know if you all read, but I was at Verizon for the last 4 years, and I was part of that 13,000 person layoff, which was sad, but I'm excited about the new opportunities. But there, I was doing work with 5G network slicing to work on real time delivery, which included cloud gaming, XR, AR, VR, into anything that needed under 100 milliseconds delivery and interaction. So, but I also here in Atlanta, I've been in the games industry forever. And I have a small little boutique supplemental staffing agency called Atlanta Game Cooperative. And in that, we've got Unreal, Unity, 3D guys, all coming from the games industry, but now more than not, we're doing immersive VR, AR development. And again, it's temporary supplemental staffing to give these guys work to do while they're trying to do their game. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thanks, Blake. Who else?
I can take it next. Hi, I'm Karsten. Very easy to pronounce if you just think of 10 cars and you switch it around and make it Karsten. That's a German name. I'm from Northern Germany. I've been in LA now for 25 years or so, and last 6 years of that I've been teaching at USC, and I built up a curriculum there for narrative technologies, mostly XR. So we work a little bit with Snap, a little bit with Apple. The usual suspects. We focus on wearables, but the school I teach is tech entrepreneurial. So we also do other things like, there's people who ideate around products. There's people who ideate around robotics. Some people do like projection mapping. They're changing playing like physical spaces and so forth. Before that, I was teaching at CalArts. So I made the move from art school to big university, which is a big, big difference. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I also have a small studio in LA. I've done a lot of, I've been in different types of agencies for over the years, entertainment as well as product and sports and things like that. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. I met Erin at Next Stage in Pasadena, and then she told me about the IXA. So I'm just curious to listen in a little bit.
Oh, awesome. Well, you'll have probably a lot to say since we're talking about teaching today. So great. Welcome. And anybody else new that would like to introduce themselves?
I could jump in next.
Okay, great, Josh.
Hi everyone. My name is Josh Feldman. I'm a senior director over here at Art Tech House. We're an immersive art space and platform and creative studio based in DC. We have 3 locations in DC, New York City, and Chelsea Market, as well as in Houston, Texas, and Houston Heights area. We started back in 2015, and our first location opened in DC in 2017. So we've been on this mission to bridge the gap, or what's left of it, in the gap of art, science, and technology, producing cinematic and immersive experiences that sit at that intersection. I've been proud to work with collaborators like Society for Neuroscience and NASA and Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute for scientific collaborations, but we're also known for our interactive seasonal celebrations like our Cherry Blossom exhibition as well. We have platforms on site, as well as we have more, I guess you could say, virtual environments in terms of our XR platforms, that being through our application itself. As well. I'm new here to the group too, as well, right? So I'm excited to take a deeper dive into some of y'all's education practice and how we can take a deeper dive into that as we seek expansion across the DC metro area as well, too. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Love our tech house. I think I've been to all of them, but the one in Houston. So yeah, I definitely we have students that want to learn to make content for your types of space. Yeah, go ahead, Darcy.
Oh, hi, everyone. My name is Darcy Smith. The director of the Digital Performance Lab here at the University of Cincinnati. I focus mostly on training actors and developing actors for a variety of different digital mediums. So anything from acting in VR, motion capture, that sort of work. Most of the work that we do in terms of VR, though, tends to be based in cinematic VR or film VR. Um, yeah, so excited to meet you all and again learn more about what this group can do. Thanks.
Great, great, great. Well, welcome everybody. That is a perfect example of the types of people that we have in this group. People who are practitioners, people who do more tech focused, people who do more art focused, performance based, and sort of just trying to understand the space. So let's see. Michael, go ahead and say a little bit about Agog. I mean, about the journal.
Sure, and Agog. Hey, everybody, I'm Michael Epstein. I have, similar to a lot of you, a hybrid background in academia and production. I run a production company in San Francisco called Walking Cinema. We focused on location-based, immersive narrative experiences and work a lot with museums and historic sites. And I've also been for the last 10 years teaching immersive design and storytelling courses, mostly at California College of the Arts, soon to be not the California College of the Arts after 118 years. They kind of went bankrupt, and yeah, so that I'm working now with the Graduate School of Journalism at Berkeley, setting up what's called the Experiential Journalism Lab. So I'm really interested in like this intersection between storytelling and immersive technologies. Um, Thanks to a meeting about a year ago with Agog, which you may know is a funding entity really interested in XR for impact, any kind of social good. We now have a journal that is alive and in production. This has been a dream of a few people here longer than I've been with IXA, including Aaron, Elizabeth, Pat, and others who've been working on this. I'm working pretty close with Lindsay, actually, and a designer from UNL, and also a professor at MIT in their writing program. The journal is really a hybrid between academic writing and I'd say, kind of long form journalism. And so we want to make something that's very approachable, that looks at really the bigger picture around immersive media for impact. And this impact is a pretty broad term, and part of what we're exploring in the first issue that's coming out in March is, what kind of impact is out there, both, addressing critical issues, but also, personal space, health, things like that, and looking at how we measure impact, different ways that people have tried to quantify, different projects coming out. As all you know, that like in the immersive field, there's quite a bit of self-promotion and projections into what could be. We're hoping that the journal begins to set a baseline for how we can actually measure impact quantitatively, qualitatively, both in an academic environment, but also with commercial productions. The kinds of writing that we're interested in, and we have a deadline of February 1st. If you want to apply to that, I can drop the link in there of where you can submit it. It's a pretty short application, but we're really looking for all types of submissions, be it critical essays, peer-reviewed research, technology advances, or really just big idea kind of pieces that want to look at larger issues in immersive. So that's the journal in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions now if people want to talk about it, but I don't want to hijack this particular meeting. I'll drop a link to submit. Again, the deadline is February 1st. If you have a journal idea, please drop it in there. We will be giving stipends to folks who end up writing for either this issue that's coming out in March, or we'll have another issue coming out in the fall of this year. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks for that update. And the link to submit is there. And Jonathan, you want to give us an update or just kind of discuss membership for a bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Again, my name is Jonathan David Martin. I'm a lecturer at the University of Maryland in their immersive media design program, and lovely to see all the new people here. Darcy, we definitely need to talk about acting in VR. I've been doing a lot of tons of projects in VR with live performance. So let's definitely connect over that. And Karsten, we should chat. I'm based in LA and go back and forth to Maryland, and would love to hear more about what you're doing down at USC. So speaking of Los Angeles, one of the things that we're doing for membership this year is we will be extending TXI's Social Impact Build Fest. So this is something that Erin and her team started 4 years ago. This will be the 5th year, and IXA is helping to take this national. So this is going to be an event we're going to be doing later in the spring, where we are bringing in experts in a social impact topic. This year, we're doing belonging. And we're also bringing in tech partners. I don't know if we're announcing them quite yet, who we are bringing in as our special partners. So if Erin wants to share that. Okay, go ahead. Yes. Okay. Great. So Erin, if you want to just share who we're partnering with on the tech side really quick for Impact.
Yes, we just secured our tech sponsor on Friday, and we are going with Scenery, which, if you don't know Scenery, it's actually an immersive, the XR kind of creative tool that has a way for you to do mixed reality with web clipping. So if anyone's had problems like using web AR and eighth wall going away, we've been really exploring and talking with a lot of different platforms saying, okay, what can be a replacement for that? And Scenery comes out of, I believe, Germany.
Berlin-based, correct.
Right, and is really excited to partner with us this year and get a lot of different case studies on XR creation. So it's very user friendly. So we're excited to try it out with everybody.
We're using it too at Berkeley's Experiential Journalism Lab. So it's a great platform.
Super cool. Great. So, a lot with BuildFest is about offering students the opportunity to work with emerging technology and to bring students together, both those of whom who go to hackathons. Like I went to my first MIT Reality Hack. That's why I'm here in Boston. And just finished working on an incredible project with hardware and snap spectacles and all that great stuff. And a lot of times, of course, many students who are not from technical and engineering backgrounds find hackathons either intimidating or just something that doesn't appeal to them. And so with BuildFest, it's really about trying to bridge students that are more in the humanities, students that are in the sciences, bring them together, see what it is that they create, and to give them the support, both in terms of subject matter mentorship and technical mentorship to be successful at that. So this year it will be at UT Austin. It will also be at University of Maryland. It will also be at CU Boulder. It will also be at Georgia State University. One team from each of those hacks will be invited to come to AWE and to present the projects they've been working on AWE. And so again, this is this place where Immersive Experience Alliance is trying to be this hub in the sort of spoke of the wheel between industry and the research side and academia, and to help create more of a pipeline for new people coming in, whether they're students at university or other creators, makers, engineers into the immersive space, and to kind of help bridge some of those gaps. So those are some of the things that membership in particular is making possible. We're also looking for volunteers to help be part of IXA. So if any of that stuff you'd like to hear more about, happy to kind of chat more at length about what we're doing now with membership and what we're looking to do in the future. So I'll drop my email there in the chat. Please do feel free to reach out about that or anything else we'd love to talk further. Now I'm gonna go get on a plane. So thank you all, and be chatting soon.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jonathan. Hey, just a quick tidbit before you leave, Jonathan. Zane, who is the lead facilitator of the Build Fest, who's going to be going around to all these different universities. When he was a student launching the Build Fest, his team actually won the MIT Reality Hack. So it's like nice kudos for him when he was just a student.
Awesome. So great. We have a few people who just joined. I don't know if anybody wants to introduce themselves before we jump into the discussion. Mute your, yeah, go ahead. how do I pronounce? You're
Yeah.
going to say your name, and then Adrian, you can speak.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Ksenia. I am from Cornell. I'm an instructional designer, so I'm more actually on the kind of education pedagogical side of things, but I am also a lead on immersive technologies and integrating immersive technologies into courses. Within our creative technology lab, we have some students working on projects, developing, usually it's applications for teaching and learning. So we have somebody working on an application for fluid mechanics, putting an engine into VR so that students can kind of disassemble it. So that's kind of the scope of things that we do. And we're really interested also what the community has to offer. And so this is my first time joining. I'm really excited to learn more. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for joining. You'll fit right in with this conversation today. Adrian.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Adrian Fang. I'm a dance professor at University of Maryland and one of Jonathan's frequent collaborators. And I am such a newbie, but I'm always just fascinated to attend these to learn about all the amazing things that everybody's doing. Thank you for providing the platform.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being here. It's a lot to take time out in your day now to get on a call for something that you don't have to do. So appreciate everybody being here. And so what we want to do is I'm going to put some questions in the chat. And so those of us who are teaching and those of you all who are industry practitioners or artists who want to know what's going on in teaching or want to educate us on what to teach, we're trying to understand how teaching immersive is changing because of AI or how it's not changing because of AI, and just kind of trying to understand what are the workflows, what are the tools, what are the real bottlenecks to creating content, or distributing content. What are the platforms that we're getting traction on sharing, and just kind of really just kind of taking a slice of right here, right now, what is everybody doing to teach, and then to share what's been created. And I mean, so to create and teach to create, and then to share what was created. And so I've put some questions there, and what I want to do is do a breakout room, which will probably be about it'll be about three or four people in the room. And if you all could just take these questions and just go through them, whichever ones, resonate with you. And then we'll ask for people to come back and kind of report out, what's, something that's been successful, something that's really still a hurdle, a workflow that's new or interesting, a tool that's new or interesting, just so we can all expedite our learning. So let me just go ahead and create the breakout rooms, and everybody should just jump right in. Um, Let's see. Karsten, are you able to join? Should I not join? Let's see. Karsten, are you able to join the group? Maybe not.
times. But it's definitely sped up the process. I think it's given them like more confidence, because a lot of times it was never like the concepts or the ideas that they struggled with. It was literally like, which letter do I put next to make it do the thing? So that's how we've been using it a lot. I have a colleague who's been teaching AI image making, which was new for us, and he's been using Runway, and that's been not only like just new, but there's a certain subset of students that I think really are leaning into that. And so it's been kind of fun to give them an outlet, like a place for them to go and get to like scratch that creative itch that they have. But yeah, Claude Code, Runway, certainly like all of the other like little micro AI tools built into like Photoshop or Canva. Like these are all
Sure.
things that are being used in a lot of different ways across campus and in our program. But the biggest thing is just to save as a time saver. Honestly, that's been the biggest thing for us at this
Totally. Totally. And how you doing, Liz?
Good, good. Hey.
So yeah, I'll answer as well. I'm in industry. I'm not in academia, and so the way that I use a lot of AI tools and the way that we've actually seen our community start using them are two different answers. I'll say, yeah. So I've been using a lot of Google Gemini and VO for video generation. A lot of what I'm doing right now is, and again, I'll talk about myself, my workflow, and then I'll talk about our community is I need to be able to articulate what the future of XR looks like for mainstream use cases and audiences. So how do I visualize this without having this tech like real and tangible and to actually give real, screenshots and screen recordings of what this really looks like? And so we RP1, we do have an AR demo where I've been able to actually do a real screen recording. But then beyond that, there's a whole bunch of infinite use cases that industry is going to want to use this for from an enterprise perspective and a user perspective. And so I need to be able to visualize what that future looks like. And so the way I've been using it is a lot of image generation to get the real visuals. Sometimes I need, and I've been learning that I need like the reference image to then get the first frame of a video clip that I'm going to generate. And then I've been using everything from VO, some Runway, Kling, and then now Grok actually a lot because Grok is free and it's I get a lot of like most of it. I mean it capped me out recently, but I mean I've been able to have an incredible amount of iterations on that. So for my own workflow, it's just basically needing to articulate. I use Google LM or Notebook LM like to just make sure it knows exactly what RP1 is and what our vision is, and it does a great job of giving me infographics and a whole bunch of educational assets. But then the way that we've seen our community start to use it is there's been a scene builder that is somebody created independently their own Gen AI 3D scene builder, like a asset generator that is going to be aligned with the standards that RP1 is putting forward. So now people with natural language will be able to tell it what they want to build, and then it'll spit out a 3D model and or immersive game or experience that then would be possible and to be hosting on your own servers, your assets, your service, and then also then be able to be plugged into RP1's spatial fabric, which is again, I'm not sure how much we've talked previous, but I assume I'm happy to tell you more about RP1. But yeah, the tools that our community is starting to generate as far as just creator tools are leveraging Gen AI as well. And that's really fascinating. So again, how do you build your own 3D environment faster through Gen AI? And so I've been seeing a lot of that recently. Like there's been two individuals that have their own companies that are building tools for this. And so, yeah, it's been pretty wild to see. So again, the personal workflow is a lot of video generation right now and try to iterate on that. And then within our community, we've been seeing a lot of people building their own tools and services, and something like an in-world AI, where you have an AI NPC, is like a service that, would be plugged into an RP1 based open standard ecosystem. And so, right now people are just starting to build those tools for this. And so it's been interesting. Again, it's only been open for about a month and a half now. But yeah, those are two different things on my side that I can think of how it's basically like AI has really been integrated. Obviously, a lot of articles, a lot of content. I run all of our marketing and biz dev. So automations. I do have a CRM that I use that, hopefully you guys don't get spammed too much with emails. I think Liz, you're on our distribution, but hopefully I'm respectful of that. But that's kind of the idea.
Yeah,
So
that's really we definitely want to have you guys come in and talk about RP1 and because what's interesting, just kind of the way that you're talking about it, is it's becoming like an ecosystem marketplace kind of thing where and Pat, I missed some of what you were talking about. Were you talking about Claude Code?
Yeah, I just said we really use it for for students that are building projects in Unity.
Mm-hmm.
Just real simple stuff we used to do, like if you interact with this coin, it disappears, right? Like in a
Mm-hmm.
game, and how that used to take like a week's worth of getting 15 kids to be able to write that code, and now
Yeah.
we can do it so fast. Always felt like it always felt like what do I want to say? Like their feet were always spinning. It's like they're ready to go, but like we got to spend a week writing this one code. And I know I have a colleague who's like a code purist, and he's like, it's not the same thing, and he's right. But for the most of these guys, that's all they need is just access to like get them down the road over that like one little hurdle, and then they can do something else. So we use that, and then I think you were in by the time I talked about my colleague that's just we're just starting to offer like AI image making. And so he's been teaching that class, I think, for 2 semesters. And so, now we're getting a batch of students who are going through our curriculum who have experience doing that. And so now they can bring it into some of these other classes that we have, like, documentary filmmaking, right? Hey, maybe we could be using it that way, or in some of our photography classes, or some of these like conceptual design courses and these type of things. So it's kind of cool to see the skills kind of starting to filter into other areas of the things that we do in our department.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's really cool.
so the thing that's interesting to me though is that Claude Code you have to pay the $20 a month.
Mhm.
So I just put the link to I don't know if y'all can see the chat still,
Yeah.
but basically Gemini is free for all students, and you get the Notebook LM, Nano Banana Pro, VO3, point one, but you get limited video generations. But the asking students to pay for a recurring is hard.
Yep,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Whether it's the code or it's whatever it is difficult. What I will say is that uh, what I see happen a lot is like one student has a subscription and he's sitting next to another kid and he's like, "Here, I'll put this on the server. Here you go." So there's some of that happens. Also, they've got a free trial under like 10 different emails and some of these other workarounds that aren't great, but they figure out a way to make it work. But yeah, thanks for sharing this Gemini thing. I thought maybe we talked about this in class, but I'll put another reminder out there about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm diving super deep. Y'all already saw my coworker Max when he came in and talked about using Comfy UI. And but I find so what I'm doing is I'm teaching AI in the creative industries. So they're reading a book by Doug Shapiro and understanding how the industry is changing, all while every week they do an AI sprint with a different thing. So, one will be sort of more like an artist statement with their images and helping use AI to kind of push like what they want to say and what they want to build image wise. But then they're building into more like a music video. They're doing they're using Notebook LM to help read the book. And so they're making study guides for each other on each chapter so that because they don't read much anymore.
Mm.
So we're trying to use tools to kind of to learn that. And then also because I'm uh, consulting with a studio that's embedded at Coke, they're going to do an ad that's, a spec ad that Coke is going to, ask them to do and preview it. But so they're going to learn a ton of new tools. And one of the things I do is I've learned that you can go write all these companies and say you're teaching, and if the students have an EDU, they'll give you
Yep.
credits for the year, for the month, or the semester. So I'm doing that, which is the
Yep.
same thing as the students, like, I'm just begging, and I'm like, okay, well, it's all the Chinese models that are giving me the free stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not an AI tool, but just because you said that, we're going to try out some Gaussian splatting. And I
Mm-hmm.
reached out to this company, and they gave our students. I just mentioned we want to teach it, and they gave us access to 17 licenses for
Oh,
our kids.
wow.
They were like super cool about it. It's like it was so easy. I kind of didn't believe it, but reach out to them if you guys ever want to teach this. It's PC only, but we just had kids asking about it, and so we reached out.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I think I'm not sure. I think next month we're going to have two different grad students speak, and
Oh,
one is doing Gaussian splatting
that's great.
and but in historical recreations, which
That's
is
awesome.
so fascinating. And I think that will be you know be really interesting. But David, what's interesting about RP1 is it would be so cool if the students could take whatever 3D worlds they make and share them, and not have to use only, you know, um, what is oh gosh, I can't remember which platform, not Minecraft, but what's the one that Roblox, not like
Hmm.
Roblox worlds or not like the stuff
Just
that,
closed. Yeah,
yeah,
just like Fortnite, Horizon Worlds, VR
Fortnite
chat.
worlds, so all of
Yeah.
that, so I love the idea if like even this guy who's recreating Atlanta's Chinatown could have a place to display because that's
Yeah.
the next thing that we're talking about with these immersive worlds or
Mhm.
even immersive experiences is that it's really hard to showcase
Yep.
what you can,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'll say there's so much depth that I would love to sit down with both of you guys. And I know that, the IXAlliance right now, like as this is a formal meeting, like it might not be the place to dive super deep, but I would love to share with you really what's possible because the person recreating the Atlantis Chinatown could literally go to and let's just say there's somebody that owns the different stalls, right? They could actually place Atlantis Chinatown in a map system that will be on Atlanta, like the actual intersection of the digital twin of Earth that we
Yeah,
have, and then they can own it on their own servers. And then legit, any services, anything that's built is all owned by the person who built and developed it. And then all RP1 becomes a universal map system that people can then plug their spatial fabric, their map, their digital twin
yeah,
into.
yeah,
And so, we're working with other, locations, towers, university as well, that is starting to build out their digital twin. And it's going to be on the actual, digital twin of Earth. And then when you're there physically, not only, again, you do have an issue showcasing it on for a certain platform, but then especially in an XR environment on any device, even in the future when we have three different AR like style glasses, how do you build for something that will work natively on a vision glasses, Android XR glasses, Snap spectacles, Meta Display
yeah,
threes? Right now you have to build your own siloed app environment and have it be accessed through even a WebXR is subpar. That's our current demo, but it's not going to really be the future of a spatial connected layer across our
yeah,
physical reality or our virtual. And so everything that's being built right now is being completely owned and managed by the independent person. And right now it's all for free. You could do this in RP1. We have a developer center that just launched last month that is what we could dive deeper into and
yeah,
work with you guys to build tools and build services. Because once, someone like a Claude and Claude Code and some of these other vibe coding tools know that what's possible with RP1, there is already now a vibe coding 3D software tool that somebody is creating to do Gen AI spatial, development work, you
yeah.
know,
Well,
and
I definitely, we definitely want to have you guys talk about what is possible in, sort of the world of um, sort of display or
yeah,
marketplace or showcase. I think that's really interesting. And I think Claude Code, and I don't know if y'all have heard about Claude Bot that everybody's gone crazy about now.
mm-mm,
Anyway, everybody is vibe coding now. Everybody is vibe
yeah,
arting is what I call it. Like Pat, your friend who doesn't like the AI art. Well, everybody's
yeah,
vibe
vibe
arting.
art. Give me one
Everybody's
moment.
vibe coding. So,
Yeah,
but it's that's when things get interesting. is when
Yeah.
everybody can start to make all kinds of really unique things.
It
Now
lowers the barrier.
yeah, let me jump out just to make sure that there's not anybody randomly, and I'll jump right back in.
It sounds good.
Y'all can start thinking about what we'll report out.
You look at something to call out that it's AI.
Yeah.
So Pat just asked me, my current workflow of how I use AI, what would that have been like 2 years ago? And for, let's just say, the videos that I'm trying to create right now, and I can share my screen and show you what I just did, and it was for free. I haven't spent $1 on these just yet. I've been using the free trials, but what I've been able to do has been basically like, I'm trying to visualize what an airport environment would look like with AR. And when you're at a gate, let me go. I'm gonna show one of these videos. So it's like, oh, it disabled screen sharing, but
Oh, sorry.
yeah, all good. But basically, it's like, okay, when you're at the, your baggage claim, all right, I'm gonna get a notification or something in my heads-up display that says I'm at the right spot spatially, and there are 3 bags, 2 bags, whatever, ahead of mine, and it might take another 3 to 5 minutes to get to me. And so now in my glasses, in my display, let me see. Yeah. Again, it's all good. You get the idea. It's like, now I'm at a baggage claim, and I'm waiting at a baggage claim, seeing bags go by, and then I have a heads-up display that says, 2 bags ahead of me, 3 to 5 minute, estimated time, but you're at the right carousel. Great as a consumer. And then on the other side, if you're in the airport throwing bags onto the carousel, it's like, okay, no, this is the right one. This is, you can now have, items that are marked, and you could have that be a service that some company will build for an airport.
Yeah.
But the shipping and logistics side of what is possible connects XR and spatial computing with IoT, with all the AI services. And again, all this is an open, blue ocean for people to develop their own verticals and services to be able to monetize with that won't be, benefiting RP1. It's literally going to be like Chrome doesn't make $1 when you buy a shirt, but Stripe takes a percentage of the payment, and whoever you're buying the shirt from takes a percentage of it. Chrome is just the browser that reads and views and produces a visual based on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, basically. And that's what we're creating.
One of the things that and then we'll jump out because I want to have 15 minutes to share out, but
yeah.
So differently, that I think that's super interesting. What's interesting to me is trying to teach AI, creativity or whatever, but also I hire a bunch of AI artists and to do commercials for the studio that I work for, and it's the people that are good at AI video generation are the people that are already established commercial creators.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get to just jump over storytelling and editing and sound design and all of that because you can make super cool images or even a super cool single video. So I think that's something we have to teach the students is that there's still a lot of skills involved.
Yep. Yeah. Can I comment on that? Again, to your point, I'm not necessarily highly proficient independently of the AI tools to build these visuals. But one thing that I noticed that, would be super helpful from an academic perspective is to then know the f-stops for the shot to be able to direct, and know technically you want it to be this type of camera with this type of lens to get this type of shot. And now to be able to articulate that is an academic, studied, learned person versus me transparently versus my brother who's in film, right? I can understand how he would describe a shot versus how I would just like direct it
I'm
very
going to
different.
jump out real quick because I got to get everybody out to the thing, but we'll share out in just a second. Hold on. Hello, welcome back.
I, I was just finishing with rights are infinitely divisible.
That's right. That's NASCAR.
Yep.
So yeah, since y'all started talking already, do y'all want to share what you sort of discovered or talked about in your group, John and Blake and let's see, Darcy?
Yeah, John, why don't you go ahead? You have a good way with words.
Oh, geez, but I talked too much already. Um, yeah. We were actually riffing because Darcy was bringing up that he works, dealing with at his university, the actors. There's a lot of AI fear, especially amongst the actors, and we were discussing the dispelling some of that or addressing it head on in the kinds of enabling technologies that are coming to fruition, and frankly, other technologies that have been around for quite some time, and discussing some of the not irrational, but the aspect of actors stop and think about their job, which has never been your job as an actor is not to be real to begin with, but to portray something else. And you may have done that by putting on a costume or makeup, or now we digitally do it. And what does that entail to folks? But also the liberation of technology. I don't know how many of you have ever worn a mocap suit or had a facial rig on you, but that is not the most fun thing to wear to capture performance. And the fact is, we see a lot of enabling technology right now that is enabling to take off the mocap rig, or not put dots on a person and be able to capture performance. Having done more hours of facial performance capture with, rigs and dots on face, being able to get rid of that and to capture the essence of somebody's performance, is part of this technology shift. So it's breaking it down a bit. And I oversimplified a longer-winded conversation.
Great. Well, thank you. And so, Aaron, why don't you go ahead since you just asked a question and wanted to let you come and speak about it. But yes, my colleagues are part owners. So we're deep. That's why we're such Unreal heavy people and iClone.
Oh, no way. Okay, I'm gonna have some notes for you because we're trying it out on Friday in the studio. So far we like it so much better than all the other AI mocap tools. So it's nice. Oh, okay, what did we talk about? Michael and Josh and we talked about I guess the thinking about authenticity, in its use with AI. How do you bring your full self, and where is the relationship between you and using generative AI tools? We also got a deep dive into Josh's use of generative AI tools for a very long time at Art Tech House. Really been a pioneer in that space and incorporating it in. And it's been fun because as you were describing it, I'm like, oh, my grad students are doing that right now. So I might have to call upon you, Josh. And I think it varies on when I think we all kind of came to talking about how these AI tools have a purpose, but maybe not for the end public, that they're really great right now for collaboration in the early stages and trying to quickly rapid prototype things in order to not spend a lot of money all up front, but like try getting a lot of results and ideas out and then see what we can do.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, yeah, go ahead, John.
Haven't you just described the entire XR field?
Yeah, I know. I know, literally, right? It's like I
Yeah.
feel like
I
we've
would,
had this conversation before with other tools.
I'm just
We
saying.
did
Yeah.
Yeah,
get into that, like there's kind of that friction point between using AI to kind of rapidly get it a prototype or give an idea out there, whether it's a blank page that you just want some writing to get down to throw it out to the group, or an initial design of like the project itself. And then like when do you switch from that kind of quick prototype to maybe what's going to be more human generated or more personal, especially with art projects or with narrative projects that I tend to work on. So a lot of it was like, when do we transition? I think also laying behind our conversation was like, what are the ethics we should be teaching our students about how to be like really open about, hey, I used this tool to kind of come up with some ideas. Now I'm moving into a phase where it's going to be mostly me, but it's still going to be somewhat hybrid.
yeah, and you have to model it. You totally have to model it and say that you're using it. I'm very verbal in when and how I'm using it, including generating my own digital twin of myself and letting it teach my class for a day so we could have an ethical discussion about that.
I dare say, and it's an oversimplification, but if you think about the transition from using slide rules to calculators and the presence of a calculator in the classroom, right? There used to
The
be
AI literacies.
it's interesting. You can go back through different technology shifts and look at how the adoption or the use, the embracing of it. It's like I can't find a student now that doesn't, have a calculator involved in middle school even, where it used to be that was not a thing you could touch. And I find it interesting as new tools and technologies come on, is how do we adopt them and absorb them, and embrace that, are you using this to do your work? And then defining work.
Yeah, 100%. Like nobody asks somebody whether they used a calculator or not now. So I think that we won't really even be saying that. Did you use AI? It'll be assumed that you used AI, but how did you put your own self into it? I don't know. I don't know. But uh, Ksenia, your group didn't speak yet. Do y'all want to talk about what y'all
Oh,
discovered?
sure. I think Jason, you had something to share. I think we assigned you to share out something, and I don't know, maybe we can add if there's
Thank you so
anything.
much. We covered a lot of topics actually. We're kind of like all over the place, and we're a very diverse group. Ksenia and is it Adrian? Adrian and I. So I don't know if I could sort of consolidate, because we're like personally kind of on a similar tack of like using AI for for prototyping, and Adrian says she uses it for the blank page, and Ksenia's in the process of using almost kind of like you book time or book tokens on these systems. The thing I thought was really interesting was with both of them is kind of the way that their universities are have sort of like systems that hold it from going out to the whole world. Like they're not using like AI that's public, but more like I think Adrian's was Terp AI, and Ksenia's I didn't catch what it was called, but that's a system that's more contained, right? And then you get time on it. And obviously, it's not going to do as much. But personally, when number one, when we're talking ethically, I mentioned I'm working with a native tribe right now on a project, and so there's a lot about like indigenous data privacy, right? And so the minute you bring something into AI, now you don't own it, and the computers are training on it, and then not to mention, and then is it stealing? And so I don't, as an artist and a creator, I have a lot tied up in that ethical piece and where are we using AI and when is it appropriate is the discussion that we're on. So we're kind of like in that realm, sort of overall overarching way. And so then the personal part was kind of like, then how do you get different departments working together? So I took an AI class. UO, by the way, University of Oregon. And I'm in between, just finished my master's and heading to PhD. And so doing kind of research, independent research and projects right now. Um, but like, how do you like talk about what are you paying for? Like too much, right? Like there's a product for every step of the way, and which ones do you really need? And so we took a class there at the immersive lab, and it was like we created a project kind of like from start to finish. So we were, doing promos for it with audio and video and making the product. And our final class was like an ethical blow up. Like it was great. It was one of the best single classes that I'd been in because everyone had an opinion. We were all students. We just spent the whole term studying AI, and then it became like, but what should we? And it was really interesting. So I don't know if that sort of encapsulates everything we talked about, but we kind of like we're hitting all the different things and coming from such kind of broad, from dance and instructor support to art. So we kind of like we're all over the board, kind of just touched on those major kind of pinch points that we're experiencing.
Well, fascinating. And to that end about what tools you use, one of the things that we talked about in our group is that we use the tools that are affordable or cheap or free. And so that's why I just put in that Gemini is giving a free access to all students and all EDU for a year. And you get Nano Banana Pro, you get VO, 3, Notebook LM. So that for me, that's really helpful to know what my students have access to. And we also talked about how many of the students use lots of workarounds, which we all know about all the different workarounds that you can use, like have 400 emails and um, all of those things. But yeah, so yeah, the Claude bot, is that what you're asking about, John? Local versus
Oh, no, I was just pointing
oh,
out
yeah, go
that
ahead.
the local compute or on-device compute, whatever your device is, or even private edge compute is certainly a trend as folks developing models pushing that into being able to do it. I mean, businesses have this, large IP holders have this problem, and that has been certainly a direction that folks in the tech business looking at. It all started easily in the cloud because you can do inference easily on the cloud, use the large cloud systems for training. Inference on the edge or inference on the device is now more of a kind of a trend. And I think, look, somebody Darcy, I think, brought it up, but I think part of the challenge is nothing is free. And people have to contemplate when they're like, well, wait, I don't want my data used or uploaded. If that the challenge is a free service usually wants something out of it, and it's free because of a reason. The challenge will be is, and this is with a lot of different things. Paying sometimes is the only way you can be in a different slice that says your data isn't going to be used in a different way. And you just have to be careful.
Well, it's interesting to that end, Georgia State. So we're doing our tech fee and we're trying to figure out. And so, of course, any of you all who were here this summer and my colleague introduced, the way he's teaching Comfy UI and using RunPod, which is where you just rent a GPU for a moment. But we're trying to get our own GPUs, but it's expensive. It's 5-10 grand per computer. If you want a really decent computer, and then the students have to come on campus to use them. But so that's why I put on there, I really think y'all should take a look at Claude People are going insane over it. And that's why Mac Minis are disappearing immediately, because everybody's running their own things on their local computers. So take a look at that.
I could help you with that you don't have to get a Mac Mini, but yes, to exactly that point. So if you don't, because I just inherently, sorry, the AMD side of me doesn't want to go Mac Mini, but exactly that, which is there's more systems that you can do with the Mac Mini. There's a Windows and Linux side of things. There's versions of it. But I'll try to figure out how, because I know we've been doing some help with universities just on more local compute. And I know a number of folks that are setting up local private data centers exactly for that reason. So I'll inject more of that tidbits into this conversation so you guys can check that out.
Well, no, I would love to hear more of that. I just realized that we're past our time, because we definitely should hear more on, the hardware side of how people are operating. So obviously we all have more questions that we have. I mean, we all are doing what we're doing and teaching and being successful, but there's a million things I think we wish we had. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Aaron, why don't we? Oh, I was going to say, if we set up.
Can you put the link in, Elizabeth, for where people can submit program ideas? Because I think John,
I had
adding
that ready to
as
go.
a proposal, I think would be a great session.
Awesome, cool. I actually have it ready to go here. Let me send it.
Yeah, and I'll try to do it not just AMD specific, because I can cover other hardware as well, and maybe I'll grab a couple of compatriots of mine.
Yeah. Great. And we could also do a session on iClone if anybody's ever interested, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'll let you know after Friday.
Cool.
But so far, the experiments we've been doing, it's much better than Move AI.
Well, just so you'll know, remember when we had Max come and talk about Comfy UI? And Max helped develop a lot of their AI stuff that they're doing for iClone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So anyway, all super interesting. And but the one thing I just want to say for the final is that I do think most of us recognize that the more you know about a discipline, the AI is not going to make you an immersive experience designer. It will help you, implement the thing that you want. It's not going to make you a great filmmaker, or, it'll just help you implement. So all the core things that we teach, storytelling and design and, placement and, user interface and user experience is so super important.
Nice.
That is our session for today. I want to honor it. We've gone a little bit over. We did record it, which is good, or at least for this last bit. I won't record your private sessions, but anyway, stay tuned for next February 23rd. I think we're going to do something on Gaussian splatting and have two different students talk about their projects that they've done. And then we're looking for people to speak at all times, and we'll reach out to you if you do submit. Okay, great. Thank you all, and we'll see you in a month.
Thanks,
Bye,
Elizabeth.
everyone.
Great session.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.